He is simply the best.
We've had so many incredible players here, high character guys, but you have to put Jalen Brunson up there as close to the ultimate Villanova basketball player and student as possible.
The moves were as memorable as they were improbable. A player dominating the paint, a place he supposedly didn't belong.
Jalen's been questioned at each level. He was a dominant high school player, and a lot of people said, well, he's not going to be able to dominate like that in college. He'll be a good college player. And then he goes on to be National Player of the Year. And then people said, well, he's going to be too small in the NBA, and a lot of that stuff isn't going to work. His back-down game, his craftiness around the basket, and he's proving that it works. He's always been underestimated in terms of his athleticism, his quickness, craftiness. There's no higher level now to go. He's proving that being an intelligent, skilled craftsman of the game works at every level.
If there's one thing about Jalen is he will not be denied. And that's kind of how I always thought about him. You know, you can tell him that you're not good at this, you're not great at that, but he's going to prove you wrong. But most importantly, he's going to do it because he believes in it.
I just try and do whatever it takes to win. I'm not like a person who's good at exactly one thing. I'm just great at adapting to situations and figuring out what needs to be done.
It's a mindset that Jalen brought with him as a freshman at Villanova. A determined young man out to accomplish everything.
Setting goals is the first part of it. You have to set goals, reasonable goals.
Jalen came in with his own plan to graduate in 3 years. A lot of people say that, or a lot of people try it. He said he was going to do it, he did it. He came in with a plan to win a national championship. He came in with a plan to be Big East Player of the Year. I never heard him say National Player of the Year, but I might have.
You can't focus on the end result, you just gotta focus on that process, focus on that journey. Embrace that journey, love the journey. Going through those grinding days where things are tough, and then having those great days where like you realize that you're getting closer to your goal, like those days are something that it's what you're gonna remember. Especially to do it with a group of guys that you love.
You talk about a guy that did what he said and believed in what we did. Never a better example of what we want everything a Villanova basketball player to be.
A national title as a major contributor in his freshman year. But 2 seasons later, the Wildcats eyed the same prize, with Jalen leading the way.
Everything was revolving around getting better the next day and getting better to be the best team we can be. So we were so locked in on obviously winning, but the fact that we did it for each other, it makes it so much better when I think about it now, because it's hard to do that on your own, but when you have guys depending on you, guys holding you accountable, it made life so much easier. It made you want to get better every day, and it drove everyone to just work even harder.
The work paid dividends in a near-perfect performance in San Antonio.
Every teammate has touched me in a way that like just makes me remember them for the rest of my life. I remember almost every team I've ever had. When Josh and Chris came over to me, that was special because they saw the sacrifice that I did my freshman year. Obviously, I came in highly touted, and I had a lot of expectations outside of Villanova. I sacrificed a lot just to be able to make sure that team was the best team it could be. Being open-minded for those leaders to lead me every day, it made me realize what being a teammate really means. It means giving up everything. For that moment to full circle, for now I'm the leader and I'm leading guys to a national championship, and then for them to be there, it was an awesome moment. It was a very awesome moment.
To the victor goes the spoils, lots of them. But after winning every major Player of the Year award, maybe Jalen's most lasting acknowledgement came back at home last fall, while he was off beginning his NBA career.
All of our student body goes through the Davis Center every day to work out on the 3rd floor. So it's built also to teach all of our students the history of Villanova basketball. So we wanted to have that to honor Jalen as National Player of the Year, one of the great Villanova players of all time, but also as a big piece of Villanova history.
When I look at it, it's just like, wow, I can't believe somebody I know did all these things in just 3 years. It was just incredible.
It's well-deserved for a great young man, not just a great player. Father, can you say something? Because I can't.
It's incredible. He did so much for the university, just in terms of his personality, his presence, his ability to lead the team. I mean, and I received honors that no players ever received. So you created an incredible young man. So thank you very much.
My parents always taught me to make sure that treat basketball how I treat school, treat basketball how I treat things in life. If I'm gonna work hard on the court, I gotta work hard in the classroom. If I'm gonna be a good teammate, I gotta be a good citizen, I gotta be a great member of the community. I just love the game. I mean, I love how it's made me as a person. I'll never take that for granted.
Much the same way Jalen's mom and dad, Sandra and Rick, haven't taken their adopted family at Villanova for granted. Still a fixture at games, as they have been since he arrived. Even if it's no longer their son, they're cheering on.
Just for them to be there, it shows what Villanova has not just meant to me, but has meant to them. Those two are Temple grads, and they're at Villanova basketball games. And so Villanova has welcomed them with open arms. The crazy part about all that is not just them. I always remember seeing Josh Hart's parents, Daniel Olszewski's parents, Archie's parents, even after they graduated. It just shows you how connected not just the players are, but the families are. Coach Wright always talks about, as soon as you guys leave here, you're gonna really realize how much pride and joy you're gonna have. And everyone's just like, okay, coach, like, all right, we get it, it's gonna be special. It's probably one of the best things I've ever been a part of, because I'm in it for life, and my family's in it for life. Hopefully my sister makes a wise choice about where she goes to school. It's something that the outside world does not understand, and you would never understand unless you're a part of it. And this family is very unique and just very special.